right, folks, how you doing today? Oh my gosh. So I don't know if any of you have been following, but I have a new thing. I'm doing TikTok videos for little 3-minute clips called A Day in the Life of an Author. And they're very random, and they're literally just when I'm in the mood. There is no particular anything to them. So yeah, I'm having fun with them, which was the point. I hope other people find them useful, but really they're for me. So I'm willing to take requests. Anyway, if you have not been watching that, I have been swamped. I have work coming out my ears right now. I'm doing editing for 2 different companies. I am doing editing of my own cookbook. I am doing writing of a new cookbook, which was unexpected and very exciting. And I'm going to be helping probably other people with editing as well. And I'm getting ready for New Hampshire Ren Fair. And that leads me to my next comment, which is that I will not, unfortunately, be at the Vermont Winter Renaissance Fair, which is this weekend coming up, February 4th and 5th. I had hoped that I would get out there, but with the cold weather and with the things that are going on here at home, I am really unable to attend that. So please do go. You will see the Brotherhood of the Arrow and Sword. There will be all sorts of amazing people. The Longshanks will be there. I'm missing them so much. Yeah, it's definitely worth going if you're in that area. It's way up north at the Champlain Valley Expo Center, and it's 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So consider doing that. My first appearance does seem to be the New Hampshire Renaissance Fair, which is the 2nd and 3rd weekends of May, as usual. For some of you who may or may not know, we lost one of our fair family. Josh was an integral member of the King's Musketeers, and he passed away rather suddenly and unexpectedly. And so you may see a lot of things done in remembrance of him. And that is good and as it should be, because he was an amazing man. His music was phenomenal, and he himself was just a good person. So, yeah. Anyway, I went to Burke this past weekend. It was a lot of fun. I bought a ton of stuff for myself, which I never do. And then my kid, bless her heart, went and got me fabric and socks and beads for my Viking outfit and a bunch of stuff. Just crazy. Oh, and spices. Totally unexpected, and I was very happy and thrilled to get the stuff. The fabric that I purchased, or that she got from me, is a red silk, and it will be made into a dress of some kind. I have not yet decided what kind. I think I'm going to do an overdress, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do a sleeved overdress or if I want to do like a sideless surcoat or what. I haven't decided yet. We'll see. I have options. I also got some brown heavy-duty linen blend stuff for making sacks, which will show up at New Hampshire Ren Fair. You'll see us carrying them around. They're called market wallets, and they're a lot of fun. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. All right. So today's episode is about line editing. And just to be clear, their website is listed in the introduction for the video, so you can go and look it up yourself on shorthand.com. But line editing is the process of reviewing the wording of a text or document to ensure the language is clear and effective. So this is not first draft stuff. This is after first draft. This is where you start looking at line editing. Is sometimes frequently done by an editor that you are paying to do the job. Sorry, I'm getting an awful lot of white out here. There we go. That might be a bit better. Or not. Sorry, folks. it's like there's maybe it's no, it's not that. Whatever. Anyway, so line editing is literally exactly that. It is going through a piece of work, a body of work, literally line by line, sentence by sentence, paragraph by paragraph, looking at it forwards and backwards, trying to decide how it sounds. As an example, in the van life cookbook that I'm working on, I have a sentence that I started to edit this morning. It says, if your rolling home has lots of storage, canned goods might be the way to go. If you're limited in space, dehydrated might be the way to go, being both lighter and more compact. Way to go, way to go, way to go. I think I might be stuck in a rut. So I need to reword that. Now, when I'm doing this, I don't know if you can see it. There we go. I don't actually do the editing to begin with. I just highlight things. And I have two highlight colors. I have my orange highlighter. And then I have my blue highlighter. Orange highlighter is fix this. Blue highlighter is take a picture of this, because there will be pictures in the Van Life Cookbook. I don't know how many yet, but they will be black and white, so they don't pop up the cost of the book too much. But there will be photographs, so you know what I'm talking about. Yay, team. The editing is coming along very well. I have testers out there cooking. I'm getting feedback already, which is thrilling and exciting. Thank you so much to those who have gotten back to me so quickly. I have, what's going on here? I have basically 4 weeks before I need to start pulling the finished product together. So that's the last of the test cooking needs to be to me hopefully by the 28th of February. And then it'll be folded into the book, and I will be putting in comments and wording and thanks and all sorts of stuff. I'm really thrilled about this. Anyway, sorry, I was talking about line editing. It's literally, it is the most time consuming and sometimes frustrating type of editing. And when you're paying for it, it's the most expensive because, again, it is literally going through line by line and being very, very careful and pointed in everything that is being looked at. It's better. So when you're doing it yourself, it can be hard. So what I recommend in order to make your brain see it as a different text is to read it backwards. So that you're not looking at the same thing. It just tricks your brain into thinking it's a new type of writing. So, yeah. But you're also, of course, in doing this, looking at, so when you line edit, what you do is you read through the whole text first. Now, if you've written it yourself, then you're already ahead of the game. You've read it already, but you need to understand the voice of the text that you're going to be editing. So if it's somebody else's work you're editing, you have to read through it first. Your first pass through is look for errors in grammar, spelling, and punctuation. That stuff's usually pretty easy. We have programs that tell us that stuff nowadays, and they do a pretty good job. So that's not tremendously bad. But then you need to look at the flow and the readability of the text, and that's where it starts to get low. That's where you're catching way to go, way to go. What you want is you want to find, you want to work on making things read smoothly, not repetitive, not irritating, not alliterative. So you don't want to write, Franny's fat fingers fried Fritos. No, don't do that. You need to make sure that it reads the way you want it to read. And then you check for consistency in style and formatting. So if someone has started writing in first person, it should be continued in first person. If they've written it in third person, that should be continued in third person. You're looking for also the formatting of the work that you're doing. So in fiction books, what you're looking for is it justified? Is it right justified? How do you want to do that? Is there a space between paragraphs, or is it indented? What's the font that you're going to be using? Simple style, things like that. The size of the text you're going to be using. But also you want to look at, does the voice of the author come through? You want it to be the same voice throughout what you're reading. And in nonfiction, like for the cookbooks, formatting also includes, are all my recipes written the same way? So I like to write a blurb. Well, the title, a blurb, ingredients, directions, notes. That's kind of how I write my recipes up, so that people can read through them and get know what they need. So I want to make sure that every single one of my recipes has a little blurb at the beginning and ends with notes about the recipe and how I've cooked it, or how suggestions I have for you as somebody who's going to be cooking the food. And you're looking for ease of reading in this. So if something is horrendously difficult to read, you need to change it. This is where the Hemingway editor comes in, HEMINGWAY.org, I think. Hold on, I can actually. Hemingway editor. Sorry, I should have pulled it up beforehand again. Oh, Hemingway app, HEMINGWAYAPP.com. So it's not difficult to use, and they have a desktop app, which I have not used, but you paste your work into it, and then you just follow through. It's fairly easy. It highlights things. It highlights adverbs, passive voice, phrases that have simpler alternatives, phrases that are hard to read, and phrases that are very hard to read. I find it really helpful because, I want my cookbook to have a reading grade of less than 6th grade. You might ask why. It's not because I think my readers are stupid. I don't. I think many of you are very smart, but because a recipe should be readable by all levels. My fiction books sometimes are much higher reading level. They have more vocabulary words, if you will. But with the recipes, you really want that to reflect anybody who's going to pick up your book. And not everybody is necessarily a high-end reader. Some of you are math people. Some of you are people who are more tactile. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Doesn't mean you can't cook, and it doesn't mean you can't have fun. So depending, if you're looking at writing something along the lines of like a scholarly treatise, a thesis, you might have a reading level of college level, because that's who you're writing for. You're writing for an audience. What you need in Hemingway editor will tell you what level your writing reads at, and you want that to say that it's reading at a level that the audience you're writing for is at. Hope that was clear. Clear as mud, right? Anyway, that is line editing. It's important and necessary, and it is the first type of editing that we get that we sometimes pay other people to do. I do not pay other people to line edit my work because I prefer to do it myself. I will get an editor later for my other works, for when I get into the proofreading section. This is driving me nuts. It's so shiny. Can I mention I just sometimes hate my setup here. I need a new light. I have a light. It's just not hooked up yet. It will be. Okay, so I like to do my line editing myself because I consider it kind of second draft. And when I hand to an editor to read, I want to be at least third draft because I want them to think I'm worth having them pick up my book. If you are writing for a traditional publisher, they may not want you to line edit yourself. And that's between you and them. You can work it out for yourself. I will always do my own line editing just because. Proofreading, it's time to let another set of eyes hit this if I can. But line editing, it really needs to be me. And what I'll do is I'll work on other things in between so that my mind is clearer when I go back to do my line editing. So yeah, that's the importance of line editing in 15 minutes or less. And then I have one more thing to finish on. I have figured out a little problem that I was having, which is it takes me about a year to write one of the really big. There we go. I just need something there. Sorry. It takes me about a year to write a big cookbook. And by a big cookbook, I mean a cookbook that has more than 100 recipes in it. The Re-Enactor's cookbook, the Van Life cookbook. But thanks to a friend of mine, Kay Sparrow of Designs by Sparrow, who does amazing pottery, I might add. I'm writing a short cookbook. It's only 30 recipes, and it's going to be put together quickly. It will have the same professional setup. It will have the same professional typesetting. I am making the cover myself, but hopefully it will look pretty good. And it will be going out with some of her historically accurate clay cookware. And the cookbook is about cooking in clay, which is something I actually love doing. I don't do it as often out in the field because I use cast iron. Because cast iron, unlike clay, doesn't break when I'm traveling. Because I'm a klutz. But there is no reason not to enjoy clay as a cooking item. And you should try it. It's a fun thing to do. So yeah, I'm doing a little short cookbook for her. And that led to somebody requesting a cookbook on struggle meals for people who don't have enough spoons or not enough time to cook. And I thought, oh, well, I could throw something quick together for that. And then another thing that I've been talking about is doing a spice cookbook. And it was getting a little daunting. I love the idea and I was excited to be doing it, but it's so big. How do you choose which spices rate? And then I started thinking of it in terms of these smaller cookbooks. And I thought, what if I pick, like 4 or 5 spices and I do a cookbook, miniature cookbook on that blend of spices and how you use them singularly and together. And then when I get a whole bunch of them, I can put them together and weave them together with my stories and stuff the way I do in the bigger cookbooks. And then offer it as a hard copy for people who want it. So that's where my thinking is at right now. I'm still playing around with the ideas, but I'm excited about it and I'm way more fired up than I have been in ages. So, all right, folks, it's been almost 20 minutes. I'm going to let you go. I hope you have a great time. I will see you next week and we will talk about different editing then.